If you're struggling to close your proposals or pitches to prospects, then pay attention. This video is for you, because in it, I am going to present to you the exact same video pitch that I send to all of my high ticket consulting clients. That's $10,000 a month and up. This is the only proposal that I use. It's a usually 12 to 20 minute custom Loom video that I send them. It runs them through my process, and it also then applies it to their website so they can see how this strategy will overlay on top of what they currently have. Now, the video I'm going to present to you is much more generic. It's actually not customized and tailored. I'm presenting this one to you on purpose because I do have to protect some of my clients' identities. But I promise you, this is a teach tape for how you can use video to close deals without long sales cycles, without crazy proposals, without 50 calls in between. I have a discovery call. I spend an hour or two working on the strategy and the process, and then I film the video and send it to them, and it closes almost every single time. So with that being said, let's get into the Loom video. So what you're looking at here, this is our entire process mapped out end to end. This is the exact same system that you see us running for all of our companies, all the content, all the ads. And I know we had talked kind of a lot about Facebook ads and paid traffic, but we really can't do paid traffic properly if we're not doing content properly. A lot of times where companies fail with paid traffic is targeting is easy. The ads pretty much drive themselves in terms of targeting, but if you're not consistently refreshing offers, testing different offers, running through different content, and if that content doesn't have a higher purpose in terms of mapping back to your brand, then it's really difficult to run consistent and long-term advertising campaigns. So this system here is designed to get upstream and really tie in with your brand strategy and your brand goals and define what your brand content pillars are, and then let that flow out to all the different distribution channels. And we're not just talking about blog content and video content and podcasts. We're talking about everything and connecting those all together. So I'm going to run you through that here. Again, I'm going to ask you for 5 to 10 minutes of your time. This is very dense information, so just bear with me. You can watch it and fast forward in the bottom right-hand corner if you want to get through this a little bit quicker. Basically, what you're looking at here too, for context, everything in blue is kind of like a one-time strategy that we'd want to do. And then everything over here on the right is more of a quarterly thing where we could do it basically on a 90-day contract where we'll help you run this or run it for you. And we'll talk more about that as we go through it. So let's just dive in real quick and just kind of breeze through everything here. So obviously we onboard you, project planning, we do a kickoff call. Website design is kind of optional. That's why it's here. It's really more just for some of the folks who have no websites or bad websites who need to leverage our design and dev team as well. But essentially what we start with is offer design. Offer design meaning we take a jobs to be done approach, meaning we look at the problems that your customers are having and leveraging your service as a solution for those problems. And then what we'll do is we'll create what we call these pillars, right? 3 to 5 different pillars that all content should map back to. And these pillars are based on, again, problems that your customers having. They're not based on keywords, they're not based on competitors. This is all about your customers, their problems, and the solutions that you offer. And we want to build, again, what we call these brand content pillars. It's a really important exercise that we go through. We've got a detailed kind of working together process where we leverage as much as your information as possible and then roll it into this exercise that we do, and then we'll review it on a client call just to make sure that you're on board with it. And it's important that we do that and get your buy-in because, again, all the content that we'll be creating in the future for your ads, for your blog, for everything, is going to tie back to these pillars, and that's how we keep everything cohesive and congruent across all your marketing. Then we go into a really deep competitive research process where we're looking at everything from your current standing, how much of an audience do you have, your email, your social. That's important because when it comes to the promotion side of things, we need to know if we can leverage your audience or if we need to build an audience. Really important, actually. So we'll go through, again, like your current state of marketing, your current reach, the communities that you have, if you have any, if we need to help you build them, and then also going into the marketing leaders in your space, who are not just your competitors, but in terms of companies that do lead generation, especially lead generation in your space. What are they doing and what are they doing very well? And how do we then take what they're doing, if it's just a podcast, if it's at YouTube, and then reverse engineer it and then apply that to your business as well? So we'll determine all those things. We'll determine all the platforms where your prospective customers are most active. For the most part, I can just tell you because I'm a B2B marketing guy, this is what I do. It's going to be LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook for advertising, and then probably a podcast. And then so some sort of video, some sort of written, and some sort of audio. And I'm going to show you how we're able to basically create one topic and then leverage all that through our system. Then on top of that, what platforms are people most active on? So where do we need to be distributing the content? Does it need to be paid, organic? Again, we've got a framework to do that. Then we'll go into we'll go into paid traffic, like do you need to be doing pay-per-click, YouTube ads, all that type of stuff. And then we'll go into a little bit more like SEO specific research. What are the keywords people are using? What are the link opportunities? What are the outreach opportunities, right? Can we get you featured on podcasts? Are there any B2B influencers, if you will, that are out there that we could leverage to do like cross promotions with? Maybe we can send them an email, get them to tweet out a new piece of content that you put out, excuse me. So we'll go through this and we'll document it all, just kind of put it in some notes. Then we'll run what we call our website quality audit. The main purpose of this is twofold. Number one is to find out if there's any sort of technical issues on your website or structural issues, usually not. And then we'll go into just a content audit. So we'll use all this data that we aggregate from all your different analytics platforms, and we'll go through all your content, see how it's performing. And then we'll make a decision. Do we need to repurpose this? Do we need to just leave it as it is? Do we need to update it? Do we need to delete it, redirect it? Essentially just starting to get the asset inventory for all the content that you have on your website. And then we'll actually go through and do kind of an asset inventory, if you will, of like images that you have, videos, just looking for all these assets. Because at the end of the day, if we can just get things organized and not have to create new stuff and leverage old stuff or stuff that's performed well, especially when it comes to advertising, like we don't always have to be creating new stuff. What we want to do is get organized and get a system and a framework that will allow us to publish regularly. And then also very targeted too, so we can kind of plan things out. And then what we'll do after that too is we'll just kind of map out all the gaps that you don't have. So looking at all the stuff that you do have, all the stuff you don't have based on competitors, based on platforms, based on keywords. And we'll start to put together kind of like a high level, just kind of like a list of assets and inventory that we need. We'll compile this all into a strategy deck for you. We'll review it with you. And then the final main output here, strategy deck is cool. It's great. It's something that you can take and use on your own and, share with your team and become kind of like your guiding light in terms of your internal marketing. But also really kind of the working output is what we call the content workbook. So I've got this filtered here just for the purpose of not overloading you. And what this is meant to do is be your central kind of nerve system, if you will, for all your marketing efforts. All your marketing is going to run through content, whether it's blogging, whether it's SEO, whatever it is, right? It's all going to run through content, especially advertising, which is key, which we'll talk about. So what we like to do is we like to take a topical-based approach. So not a keyword-based approach, a topical-based approach, which again is built on these pillars of your brand. So we'll do brainstorming. We'll work with you directly to extract any insights that your sales team is having, that your client success team is having, that people are telling them, that problems that they're having. And we'll take that and we'll work on turning those into content topics. And then we'll do research in terms of what type of content should it be, right? So should it be a long video? Does it go on YouTube? Should it be a short video that we can put on Facebook as an ad? Can we turn this into a blog post? We have different types of blog posts that we can use for that. Can we turn it into like an organic LinkedIn social post? Can we turn this into an organic email? Can we turn this into like Twitter, Instagram posts? There's a whole bunch of things that we can do with this, right? But the point is where I'm going with this is we want to take one topic and squeeze all the life out of that topic and get it in as many different mediums and distribution platforms as possible. And I'll show you how that works in a second. Just want to kind of make sure that you understand the context of this before we go into that. So basically, again, what we'll do is we'll organize all this for you. We'll put this all together for you. And really important, we will work with you to verify these, again, because this is a challenge about, working with agencies, as you probably know, that you're basically outsourcing a lot of your equity and IP to a company that really doesn't know that much about your business. You hold a lot of the insights, but we are the marketing experts when it comes to this stuff. So we want to work with you and together to make sure that we're collaborating to get all those insights, right? Because we could try and write a blog post for you about, an important topic, but we're going to fail. Anyone is, right? But if we work together on it, because we have the structure, we have the framework, we know how to put together videos, we have templates for all this stuff, which I'll show you right now. So for example, right, this is an example of one that I literally just published for the Blueprint training. One of our brand pillars is positioning. We teach agencies how to properly position themselves. And a part of that is building offers and designing offers for their clients. So we came up with this offer impact matrix, right? And what we did there is we put together a YouTube video. So this was actually literally just published this week. Let me just mute myself. All about how to charge more without doing more. Off the back of that too, we put together a blog post, right? That's the same thing. It's all about just basically a written version of this, but again, not just like transcribed, it's written for what a blog post should be for. The goal here is to rank it in search and then also to use it as a nurturing advertising asset, but essentially just putting together a blog post on it, right? So we've now got two assets. We've got a long asset and then we've got a written asset. That's two different distribution channels too. We're now attacking YouTube and then we're also attacking SEO in terms of Google search. I'm also working on a short video for it that we're going to put together as a Facebook ad. And this is important too, right? This is an important distinction. What Gary Vee will tell you is he'll just be like, yeah, take a video and cut it up and put it in a million places. No, we want to do this if we're going to do this, we want to do this right? We don't want to annoy people by just giving them content out of context, because if somebody's scrolling on Instagram or whatever, or Facebook ad, and they see a video that's cut from a webinar, they're not going to be interested. But if we can get you to help you to put together a short 1-minute video, 2-minute video based on that, summarizing it, the goal here is always consumption, right? And that's the thing. And that's the thing where a lot of companies miss, is they always go right to the end. They're like, no, I need more leads. It's like, okay, well, it's a process to get them to be leads. We have to get them aware of you. We have to get them enticed. We have to get them excited. We have to get them interested in what you have to say. And we can't do that by giving them content that's out of context. So this system is also geared towards helping you take one topic and getting the most context out of that for consumption for the end user. So then what we'll also do is we have like different templates to put together, like a LinkedIn post. So here's an example of how, again, context is king here, about how we took this YouTube video. You don't see any links here, right? You just basically see me promoting this for context. I want people to understand that I know what I'm talking about when it comes to offer design, and I can help you, right? So this is just, again, another way to get this content in front of people. Again, consuming the content on the right context, on the right platform, without, just posting the YouTube video and having them do it. And then we can write copy for email as well. So basically what we have is we have a bunch of these templates done, right? We've got frameworks for how to do long videos, for how to do short videos, for how to write copy for LinkedIn, for how to write copy for email, all these different things, right? So we've got this. And now that we've covered this, now I kind of want to jump back over here to our process, because just for context, this is just one topic, right? And I'll show you how many topics we'd want to do, during our time together, and how many we recommend for you to do as well. So that's the content workbook part here. Again, we'll review this with you. We'll basically come up with a quarter's worth, 90 days worth of content, which is usually going to be about 10 pieces of content, I think. That could be wrong. And it could be more or less just depending on your capabilities. And we'll talk more about the execution of this too, because that's really where our working relationship will hinge off this. So that's the strategy portion, right? We'll come up with all this stuff for you. We'll build out kind of your pillars. We'll give you the context for everything, all the templates that you want, etc. You can take that and do that on your own, right? That's just strategy work. You pass your team. Again, we'll train, coach your team, whatever you need. The next part here goes into the execution of it. So again, bear with me here while I go through this, because I'm a process nerd, as you probably know, so I just got to get through this. So basically what we have here is we have 3 types of content. So let me go back here and show you this. So traditional, marketing is top funnel, mid funnel, bottom funnel. The way we like to break it down is that's too generic. Like top funnel could be a million different things. So we have 3 types of content that essentially takes the place of these like funnel stages, right? Value content, right? Proof content and offer content. Value content is going to be things like what I just showed you, right? So all of these here, these are all, you can see, these are all value add contents. This offer matrix, there's no call to action here. There's nothing about our business. This is purely for value in the market, reach, awareness, building audiences, getting people, into our ecosystem, if you will, right? So basically what we're recommending here is 2 value add content topics per month. So we want to do this basically twice per month, 2 times per month. Not overly difficult if you're planning for it, right? And within that too, we want to get those created in terms of a blog post, a long video, and a short video. Those are like the main kind of like output assets. And again, I'm going to get to how we're going to create those. Underneath that is going to be proof topics. So proof topics are going to be things like case studies, right? Like how we helped X do X, or just like a really robust and chunky guide, something a little bit meatier that requires more research, a little bit more mid funnel, if you will, if that helps contextualize it. We want to try and do 2 of those per quarter. And then what we want to do at the bottom here is an offer topic. So an offer topic is going to be a webinar, a VSL, a tool, or like a chunky template, in 1 of those per quarter. So basically what we're building out now here too is all of your assets for a quarterly increment, a quarterly, period of content. So this is where now, again, the determination and where a further conversation between us will go a long way, where we're going to map out who you have internally and who you need to execute this, or if you want us to just do this all for you. So essentially here, again, we have a couple options. So off the back of all these, we want to put together a blog outline, right, to get this created for each one of these topics, right? So basically every week, we're going to be putting together a blog outline, a long video outline, and a short video outline. Again, we have the frameworks and templates to do this. We do this in our sleep. And then these need to get created off the back of that. So you're going to need a writer. We will never write content for you, because again, we're doing you a disservice to try and write content for you. And you are going to have to create the video. We can't create the video for you. So we'll talk a little bit more too, if you're interested, about how we can basically take someone within your company to be kind of a spokesperson, if you will. If you're not comfortable doing that, I really want to sell you on it, because when it comes to B2B, not necessarily that you have to be the face of the company, but like we need somebody to be able to get on video and communicate, whether it's webinars, ads, whatever. And the more people in your company, the better. Like I would love to take everyone in your team and put them on camera, and we can help them do that. That's what we're here for. We're kind of here as your security blanket for anything that you don't have, like And the ball drops, we're here, we got you. We're going to keep you organized. We're always going to keep you coached up, and we're always going to be able to help you fill in the cracks. So again, you're going to have a writer, period. You just have to create this much content, you need a writer. Again, and we are here to help coach and train that writer on how to create all this type of content. It's not your responsibility. All you need to do is find and hire the person. We'll take care of the rest. So again, there's a big element of coaching and consulting here. Basically, the way that this would work is if you have the people, if you have a writer, you got the person to do video, what we'll do is just have a call every week, and we will go in depth and we will review all the topics for that week. We will give you our insights. We will give you exactly the outlines. We'll basically work with you as like a coaching consulting deal to get these outlines and the content created. And then we'll actually review the ones from the previous week too, to give you coaching and consulting on those. Oh, this should have been an H2 here, blah, blah, blah. Use internal links. Hey, maybe in the next video, like let's work on a better hook for the beginning of the video, all the 9, right? We will literally work with you step by step through that whole process to make sure it gets done. But again, when it comes to the actual execution of the content, it's going to be on your plate, and it really has to be that way. You wouldn't want it any other way. I can't be on everyone's video here. I'm already, like, people call me like Billy Mays. I'm like the pitch man. I'm always all over these videos. I got to actually pull myself off. So then off the back of that too, we'll just help you write the promotional copy. So what that means, again, when we look at this little framework that we have here, these are kind of like the chunky pieces right here. These are the promotional pieces. So again, we'll give you the templates, we'll give you the frameworks, and we'll coach you, your writer, on how to take these 3 things and like write a LinkedIn post, write an email. It's following a very simple framework that we have. Again, that works really well, and I'll see my copy all over the place, so hopefully you understand. So essentially what we're doing here is we're ideating the copy, outlining the copy, creating the copy, and then getting the promotional content together to then promote the content. So again, this is pretty much the same framework for all 3 of these types of content. The biggest nuances here is going to be the promotional channel. So we follow a very simple, old school owned, earned, paid framework. So owned channels are going to be social media, and then your email and your communities. So again, this is what I was talking about at the beginning. If you don't have these communities, then we're going to have to spend time, effort, and money to build those communities, because you just need communities, right? Whether it's a Facebook group, and that doesn't have to be a Facebook group, but email list, whatever it may be, it's going to make growing things a lot easier. Like growing a YouTube channel is actually not necessarily about keyword research. It's about having a community to then get engaged on your YouTube, trigger the algorithm, and then you'll grow that way organically within YouTube. I'll teach you all that, don't worry. But anyways, so basically, push to own channels. You're going to be using this copy to push to LinkedIn, push to Twitter. Again, whatever channels that we identify up front during the strategy process for where to push it, push to email, push to community. So again, at the very least, we're helping you build a process to create content and nurture and build your communities, and then ideally take them from communities into marketing qualified and sales leads. And another important part about this too, and why we have content broken down like this, because it's also not just about marketing content. A perfect example of this is at the Blueprint we have a couple of salespeople, and every time they get off a call, we're in our Slack channel. We have like the leads piped through into Zapier, into Slack, and we'll just have a thread in Slack, and our sales guys will be, our sales ladies too, will be like, hey, Ryan, do you have any videos talking about offer design? I had a really good conversation with a prospect. This is their number one pain point. I want to be able to show them a piece of content about offer design to help them close. So we're helping create content at the brand level. It's not just like ad content or like blog content for SEO. This is overarching content that will map across the entire brand, that again, we can help to tie everything together. That's why I say get upstream and then trickle all the content down across the organization as needed. That's just a side note. So then again, outreach. So this is all earned is pretty much going to be outreach. So what we like to do is use your writer to then train them on how to send a couple of outreach emails. Super easy to do. It's going to take care of your SEO and your link building in one fair swoop. Again, having a writer, is kind of like the main role that you're going to need to execute this, and we will train them. We will work with them. We have very simple processes to help and train them up on this stuff, not overly complicated. And then finally, integrate with paid. So this one, for example, these are value add topics. These are going to be more of your top funnel, kind of like interest-based, educational based content. This is again in dots because we don't push all content here to paid, but we do have what we call nurture sequences that will run to remarketing audiences, to people who have seen our direct call to action ads but haven't converted yet. We'll then remarket to them with a value add piece of content. So we usually swap that out every month to keep that fresh. So we're just feeding this. Again, we're feeding our communities. We're doing some outreach to build authority, to build reach. And then we're going to integrate that with your paid channel. And then down here on the proof topic, so this is going to be, again, things like case studies, testimonials as well. Same thing. We're not necessarily going to push testimonial to own channels, but we're definitely going to push it to our paid campaigns here. And then again, so like another outreach campaign that we always recommend is podcast outreach. Super easy to build a list and then have a writer just kind of send off canned responses to try and get, again, the figurehead featured on podcasts. Easy link building tactic, easy PR tactic. Really good way to just, again, spread brand reach while also taking care of these marketing things that are traditionally hard to do. And then finally down here with integrating with paid. So again, the one thing that we're going to force you to do is Facebook ads. You don't have to. If you have the budget or if you want to push even harder, then we can help with YouTube ads, LinkedIn ads, Twitter ads, and display ads too. That's really bought through, Facebook, YouTube, as you probably already know. But again, that's completely dependent on how hard you want to push. And then the offer down here again. So this is going to be like gated content, webinar, VSL, tools, templates, tricks, things like that, that we want to gate behind some sort of email capture, phone capture, messenger capture, whatever that may be. We will determine all that for you. And then we want to integrate that as well as paid. So you can see here how the content, and again, there's more elements to this too. This is somewhat of a simplified version just for display purposes, but you can see here how all of this content now here is going to get fed through your entire process here. And then at the end too, we can just build a custom tracking dashboard to make sure that everything is getting tracked in accordingly. And we're not just talking about marketing data, we're also talking about SQLs, how it's actually pathing through in terms of revenue. We have a very specific dashboard process that we'll use to build everything custom to make sure that we're tracking everything. So look, this was double the length that I thought it was going to be. I just wanted to run you through this entire framework, the process, because basically, if you're interested, what we need to do is we need to then take this process and go through and ask just a series of questions in terms of who you have internally. Do you have a writer? Do you have a marketing person? Do you have a media buyer? If not, like I said, we can supplement these things for you. We have a full team. It just costs a lot more to have us do it. So for example, when it comes to the media buying, basically it's the same thing. We can set up 2 calls per week to review the media with your media buying team. We'll basically train them, coach them, make sure everything's good on our framework. It's going to be a lot less to put us on retainer for that than if you want us to buy the media for you, right? And that's the same thing with, again, we won't write the content, but it's the same thing. Like if you want us to put together the outlines for you, we can do that. We can put together the blog post outlines. We can put together the copy outlines. We can put together all that stuff for you, for your writer. But again, it's going to cost you more to do that because it's going to take us a lot more time. So these are the conversations that we need to have to just and apply it to your business in the best way possible. So that's everything. I apologize for making this run over. Just hit me back and let me know if you want to schedule calls to review this in detail and talk about how we can apply this framework to your business. Let me know. Thank you. So as always, if you guys like these videos, please like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.